no one really starts with the desire to make a lot of money in this field. There are people that obviously do now. I think that there's plenty of people that see from the outside looking in this career and they see it as an extremely lucrative opportunity, which from the outside looking in it is. I don't believe, I genuinely believe if you wanted to make money, there's plenty of ways to make money a lot quicker than being a creative and being a full-time creative. I think that, there's definitely still kind of the rite of passage that comes with being a creative person where you gotta pretty much expect that the first few years are going to be a lot of time being broke. But I think the thing that I noticed a lot, and the thing that I want to speak about, is that I think creatives and true creatives get into this industry with the expectation that, I'm going to do this because I enjoy it. I'm going to do this because I am passionate about this. And over time, as they start to build an audience, and I've experienced this, over time as you start to build your audience, the pressure or the expectations that you're making a lot of money or you need to make a lot of money kind of influence the way. And I was speaking about this with Hayden, because Hayden's someone that who hasn't really monetized his audience besides his merchandise and presets now, but for a long time he hadn't monetized his audience. And I think that the thing that I really admired about him is he almost had 1 million subscribers on YouTube before he really monetized his audience. And one of the things I really admired about him is he didn't succumb to the pressure of doing it because other people expected him to do it. He was doing his job, he was making enough money for him to get by, and he loved what he did, and that's all that really mattered to him. Yes, he knew that the opportunity to make a lot of money was there, and he knew that there were people almost expecting that when they met him, or people almost expecting that that was already the case. But I think that creatives often get influenced into that expectation, or that kind of, they're forced into a place where it's like, oh, I have X amount of followers now, I must be doing this. You know what I mean? It's like, I think that's why I originally released presets and LUTs, is because, I had 20 odd thousand followers on Instagram, and I kind of, was being told by people around me who didn't really have any idea about the industry and didn't really know influencer marketing and didn't really know the value of 20,000 followers or whatever it was. And they were all sort of in my ear going, why don't you do this? You should be selling this. You should be making this much money. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And it kind of forces you into this expectation that not only am I expected to sell products that I don't necessarily believe in or do things that I don't necessarily believe in, but you're also not allowed to have a part-time job, or you're not allowed to freelance on the side, or it's almost taboo for example, I've been thinking a lot about the fact that I wish I had done my barista course, because I think it would have been an awesome opportunity for me this year in March, when all this shit hit the fan, for me to go and get a job as a barista. Not that I need it incredibly. It would have been great for me because I haven't really done any freelance work this year, and I've been my freelance work has been pretty much supplemented by JobKeeper. It would have been an amazing opportunity for me to go and get a barista job. And it's like, yes, I genuinely believe, and it sucks to admit, but I genuinely believe that a lot of the reason why I probably didn't is because of that taboo of, why would you need a part-time job if you have 70,000 followers on Instagram? And I think that that's this pressure that's just completely unnecessary and completely ridiculous. I kind of see this as, we're the luckiest generation. And I've said this before. We're the luckiest generation to be creative people. The luckiest generation to be creative people, because it's what a lot of us would be doing regardless of when we were born, or when we, it's what a lot of us would be doing regardless of when we were born. But the thing is that it's the potential that we have now with social media, the potential that you have now with doing this sort of stuff and being a creative person. It is more accessible now than it's ever been to be a creative type. It is way more accessible for you to make a full-time income, and a good full-time income, being a creative person. That's not something that has ever happened before, but I think the issue that comes with that is that there's sort of this expectation of, you're thrust into a level of success. Your performance is so outward facing. Your your level of success is so outward facing, that number that you have next to your name on social media is something that anyone can see, that it kind of develops this expectation that you should be achieving something financially. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, and I think that forces a lot of creatives into this. It attracts a lot of creatives, or it attracts a lot of people that aren't necessarily the creative types into this world. And then they are shocked by the fact that no, actually it is still exactly the same, in the sense that you have to not only build an audience, but build an engaged audience that really care about you for it to be monetarily, successful. But I think it also means that a lot of creative types that kind of just got into this because they love doing it, and they would be a photographer even if they were the last person on earth. It's like the I Am Legend test that I talked about last week. It's like, a lot of these people that are thrust into this are the kind of people that would do this regardless of whether they were on social media or not. But I think because their success is so outward facing, they end up in a situation where they're kind of expected to be making money. And that expectation weighs heavy on a lot of them, because a lot of them would be so much happier or so much less stressed if they just went and got a part-time job. If they just went and worked as a barista on the side, just in the mornings, just work part-time, 25 hours a week, working as a barista from 6 a.m. till 11 a.m., 4 days a week. It's like, that would give you the money to then be able to afford to travel more and not stress about making digital products, and not stress about the fact that you launched something and no one bought it because you didn't even really back the product that you wanted to. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned on social media is the fact that you can have 20,000 people who follow you, but if you've got no genuine fans that really fuck with what you do, then you're not going to make any money. One of the biggest pleasures that I've experienced recently is launching this New Zealand trip and seeing the response and getting the messages and having people sign on, having people join the trip. We're almost halfway full on that trip already after 1 week. Because people, we're building an engaged community. And I think that is genuinely a byproduct of the fact that I just don't sell to my audience, because I recognize that I would be far better off, at least for now, doing this on the side. And I want to explain that to you guys, because I think it's important to recognize that, yes, I do this full time as a creative person. Yes, I'm a full-time filmmaker. But my freelance business is essentially the same thing as if I had a part-time job. It's obviously a little bit better paying because I'm the business owner and I make all the money that I do, but it's essentially the same thing as me having a part-time job. It's exactly the same thing as me having a part-time job. I just chose a long time ago that I'm not the type of person who can be told what to do. I've known this for years. So try to kind of see through the bullshit on social media. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, because I think there's a lot of people doing a lot of amazing stuff and a lot of people selling some incredible products. Visuals of Julius, for example, is an incredible businessman. I trust every single word that man says as far as his business stuff, because I've seen his products. I've seen the way he markets. I really do believe that if he had my audience, he would be able to make more money than I make with my freelance business, because he's an incredible businessman. I'm not. I'm trying to be. I'm learning to be. I'm getting better at it, but I'm not. So I have to go and I have to freelance, and I'm okay with that. But what I wanted to explain to you guys is, try to remember that just because the outward facing image that this person is portraying on social media is that they're doing this full time, does not mean they are. Try to remember that, because it'll make you far more comfortable if you are someone that's working towards this, you are someone that's doing this on the side, or you are someone that wants to eventually do this full time. It'll leave you feeling far more comfortable in knowing that, hey, it's okay that I have a part-time job.